Hello, welcome to a video about all the things that you don't know about Tales of Berseria. If you skip most of the tutorials and you largely button mash your way through the game, this video is for you. But before I do anything, first thing I'm gonna give is a disclaimer. One, most of the stuff in this video can be found in the help section on the library from the main menu. Most of it. And two, this will be spoiling a majority of the mystic arts for all of your characters as well as all of your main battle party. If you have bought any DLC, you already know who these party members are, so that's probably not much of a spoiler, and they are in the opening menu, which is a really good the opening video, which is a really good opening video. But if you don't want to see those, then probably click off or skip the section about Mystic Arts Funtime. I will be timestamping everything in the description so you can check that, and I will try to keep the video as short as absolutely possible, but it's probably going to be like half an hour, honestly. Anyway, and now that we've done with that, let's begin. So the first thing I want to say is you want to grab all your Potentites. Potentites basically unlock game mechanics. They unlock their permanent abilities. They unlock game mechanics. They unlock your ability to do a bunch of stuff, your ability to get a bunch of stuff. They're really important. And every code red will drop a Potentite. I would suggest fighting code reds as soon as you find them, unless you have been steadily ignoring battles and that you are very underleveled. Then, yeah, you should be able to beat any code red demon that you find as soon as you find them. Potentites are very useful. Get them all. Also, the first time that you can enter a class for administrative zone, I would also go do that. You should be able to beat that as well. The game talks up the class 4 administrative zones and the code reds like they're the second coming of the apocalypse, but they're really not that hard. So go have fun, go beat them up, go get the stuff from them. Happy times. Okay? Alright. Next, I'll be talking about the shop and equipment. So let's go to First Town, and here we go. So, some about the shop. Shop level. Shop level, very important. You can get 2 Ventites from the shop level. I think it's levels 5 and 6. You want to get to shop level 5 and 6 if you ever plan on using any character who's a spellcaster. The Wizard's Ventite is extremely good for spellcasters. Now, to raise your shop level, first off, the shop level is consistent across all shops in the game. You raise it at 1, it raises for everyone. The benefits are always, I'm pretty sure it's more discounts, but also you get items from it. To raise your shop level, all you need to do is transact money. So whether you buy something, whether you enhance equipment, or whether you sell stuff. And speaking of selling, here I want to talk about, under materials, the salvage items. The comfrey, the flamestone chips, the whatever you pick up from the floor, or whatever you get from your expeditions. Anything that has this bag icon and is a salvage item is perfectly safe to sell. There's no use for it in the game other than to sell them. So, free way to raise your shop level, and the max is 15, as you could see. And next, I'm going to talk a little bit about equipment enhancing and dismantling. So, to enhance equipment beyond +2, which I'll pick this. Alright, to enhance equipment beyond +2, you need coarse tempering powder. To enhance it even further, you'll start to need standard tempering powder and fine tempering powder. but we could get into that one later. To get coarse tempering, what you need to do is dismantle enhanced equipment. When you dismantle abuse equipment, you get back you'll get stuff for what is one level above it. So except for the first enhancement is sort of like a freebie. If you use one and you try to dismantle it, you'll get back one plus. You'll get back one coarse tempering, and you get back the what you used to enhance it as well as one more. You're seeing 4 2 2 1 2 for me because I have a potentite that you can get very very late in the game that gives me double the rewards for dismantling. As you can see, I get 1 piece here, and if I enhance it, I'll get 4. Yeah, but for the most part, you want to dismantle. So you see how I'm getting coarse tempering powder powder back. This is what you want. The other thing to note is that dismantling is free, and because dismantling is free, you don't actually raise your shop level by doing it. So don't dismantle everything. Just try to keep your weapons in tip-top shape. Keep your weapons and your whatever the rest of your gear is at decent refines, and you're otherwise fine. The other thing is odorless fluid. So we see our odorless fluid here is required to upgrade this beyond +2. Any item that isn't a material name. So you have adamantite spear, you have adamantite doll, we have mithril paper, topaz, feldspar, adamantite, whatever. Anything that isn't one of those. So like the helmet schmidt sash or helmet, the unnamed bag, the I don't know, whatever it could be. Anything that is its own name. Like Nomus Force, Sylph's Invitation, Undine's Heart. All of these will eventually require odorless fluid to upgrade. And the way to get odorless fluid is you get really lucky and pick it up from one of the glowing things on the floor, or you dismantle an item with no random skills. Now, note that the higher the difficulty that you have, so I'm on the highest difficulty here. As you get potentites, the higher the difficulty that you have is the more likely that you will get random skills on gear. So if you're playing on normal, you probably won't have too much issue with it. But if you're not playing on normal, you'll be in very short supply of odorless fluid, and it can get really annoying at some point. So watch out for that. Every time you get a party member, the equipment they have will have no random skills on it. You should dismantle those. Don't sell them. Always dismantle for your odorless fluid. Aside from that, the stuff that the shop gives you is generally pretty nice. I would really consider getting that. Now, let's blend this into equipment to tell you about how equipment, what's good equipment to grab. Oh, is she cold? Oh. Right. Yeah. So to blend into how you pick good equipment. So about these random skills now. Excuse me a sec. Checking my notes. Right. So about these random skills, what you want to do is you want to pick gear that'll suit your playstyle. Yes, the stats are important, and I personally would avoid upgrading stuff that's rarity 5 and below. Their stats are actually just too bad to make any sense. But for everything else, you pick something that's pretty good. So once you start hitting rarity, I would say 10, 11, 12. Yeah, let's say like rarity 12 onward, you could start looking for actually stuff that you want to keep long term, really, really long term. If you find something with good random skills, you keep that. I would say maximum HP and stat bonuses are bad random skills. Decent random skills are like the capability plus, so like fatiguing capability or wind attack power plus 25%. Oh, well, that's a really good one actually. That's a very high one. Uh, enemy stun duration increase. Equipment skills learning speed is also not bad. Maybe the effect of so and so damage reduced. All those are pretty good. But the best ones, in my opinion, are stuff like chance to not lose souls during break soul, or BG gain from break souls, or percent chance to have SG costs, or those are basically good things. The master skill will be added on once you learn it. It'll be added on once you use the same item. So wielding this right now alone gives me plus 20% because I've learned the skill and I also have the weapon actually granting me the capability to demi-humans. Uh, I need to find a better defense, but whatever. That's how you pick, right? You pick that. You pick decent stats based on your playstyle. So if you most of you are probably playing Velvet. Velvet, to use Velvet effectively, you use a lot of the martial arts, and then you use a lot of hidden arts. So are hidden arts scale to the uh, the lesser of your attack and magic attack. So here, as you see, both my attack and my magic attack are similar for Velvet. So hidden arts are gonna be roughly about as potent as her martial arts, right? Rokuro, who also uses both martial and hidden arts, his magic attack is a lot lower, so his martial arts will be a lot stronger right now. And the last thing that you probably want to watch out for is focus. So focus increases your chance of inflicting status effects. So I could say if you get really good at the combat system, where you're not getting hit very often, or you're guarding a lot, you're using break souls well, and you're attacking very fiercely, then you could actually forego some defense. You could actually completely just forego some defense in order to get something good out of it. So you pick decent stats equipment. If you can, you pick equipment with good skills as well. So this mithril waistcoat is really, really nice. It has 8% chance not to lose souls. It has enemy stun duration up. It has focus and defense on it. Stats wise, it's good. The master skill isn't so good, but the enhancement bonus for mithril waistcoats is pretty nice. It's still, I would say it's still better than most of these that I have here. These adamantite waistcoats. So, and then also I want the focus instead of the art defense, the magic defense. So that's why I chose mithril for him until I could find a better one here. So you pick based on your playstyle. Figure out what you want to do. And as I said, remember about stats. Attack is for martial arts, and the lesser for hidden. And then magic attack is for your spells, or the lesser for hidden arts. And it's the same way for defenses. Hidden arts will hit it'll hit the weaker of your defense and magic defense. So for enemies with very unbalanced defenses, hidden arts are very useful. Be wary though, they have high stamina costs, so yeah. And now, let's move on to how to set up your archeries. So I'll explain a little more about why I talk about so much about break souls later. But for now, for when you want to set up your archeries, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. There's some guides online. They will even explain themselves. What I try to do is largely three things. largely three things. Sorry about that, I mumbled. Uh, I try to get a string of different status effects as much as I can go. So as you can see here, stun, burn, paralysis, fatigue, slow, burn. Here, paralysis, stun, and stun. And this one is poison that I can throw in at any given point. Also down here, one of the potentites you can get will allow you to... I know it shows the analog stick, but in actuality, what you have to do is hold guard. So you hold guard and you hit one of the face buttons to get the move, and you can get that at any time during the combo. So I put Skewering Spear and Hexa Strike here. I like to use Coiling Serpent after Hexa Strike. So I gave Coiling Serpent its own, section entirely. So whenever I throw in Hexa Strike in a combo, I can use Coiling Serpent after it. You pick how you want to do it. You just pick how you want to set up. Make sure you get good flows. So the reason that I have this one into Violet Ray, I can use Violet Ray whenever I want by using the Wizard's Ventide on Ice Edge. You see Ice Edge goes to Rock Swarm, which goes to Violet Ray. But I put it here just for the sake of convenience. What this normally is every one of these is one forward, and it starts with a Rending Strike. So I just remove the Rending Strike. That's how I know that they, link very well. But for you, you can just fiddle. I heavily suggest fiddling. Find what moves link into what other moves well. Find what works for you. And try to throw in as many different status effects and a lot of stuns as you can possibly throw in for when you're making your archeries. When you find something that flows well for you, this flows really, really well for me. It may not flow as well for somebody else playing Eleanor, but for me, this is how I have it. And I changed this up. I changed this up quite a bit. But now I have every single attack that she is capable of using mapped to a button. I can bring out whatever I want. It's pretty cool. So y'all can enjoy it like that. Right. That's how you do arts. So the objective by having so many different types of status effects is to give up souls with Break Soul and get them back with by inflicting status effects or stuns or killing enemies. What this does is when you give up a soul with Break Soul, it takes it from the right hand side of the screen. Let me get into a combat so you can visually understand. Okay, great. So now that we're in combat, as you can see from the left side of the screen, it takes from the right hand side. As you can see, as I attack, it'll evaporate from that side. When I gain back a soul, it comes back from the left and it comes back filled. So it's sort of a way to get infinite stamina. Alright? Please note that when enemies have more souls, they get hit by status effects a lot easier. So that's why the Break Soul gives them the soul and not just removes it from you. It's to allow you to actually hit them. It's to allow you to actually get back your soul a lot easier because you give it up. Especially when you do multiple Break Souls in a row. And yes. On to Break Souls. I'll have to get into another fight. Just bear with me a sec. Alright, on to the stuff about Break Souls. So, first thing about it is Break Souls all heal you. A good amount of HP actually. It heals you a percentage. And this healing is active even through negative status effects. So if you need to heal in a pinch, you can use the Break Soul. And this also, what I'm about to do, applies for all characters. Break Souls make you invulnerable to all damage for the duration and a very small period after. So here we go, I'm gonna get hit by a pretty nasty spell, and I'm just gonna tank it by Break Souling. See? Complete invulnerability. So next thing is that all brick souls will make all down enemies stand. So if you yeah, just a sec. Alright, so the second thing is, as I said, brick souls all make down enemies stand. So as you see, enemy is down. When I attack it, restrain. Restrain is when an enemy is downed and you can't inflict statuses and you can't make chain combos. So to avoid that, there's some moves that will make down enemies stand, but all brick souls will. And some brick souls will knock enemies down, like Elmo's. There's a chance. So let's try and down him again. So some attacks make them stand, like this one. But then, please go down. Yeah, well, brick souls will make them stand. I'm sorry I couldn't get it on video. But, yeah, the time of this video is running a long time. Yeah, so brick souls make you stand, and they recover blast gauge for your mystic arts. So always remember that when you're using them. Use them for tanking, use them to deal damage. And if you want to learn any character that isn't Velvet, I would suggest starting a battle with a character that isn't Velvet. So to do that, you press down and you hit whatever your formation button is, and you can organize the way where people are. All you gotta do is put them in the leftmost slot, and you will start a battle as them. The game will give you a little tutorial about how to use their break soul. Alright? And finally, we get to the really fun part, which is Mystic Arts. So, two things about Mystic Arts. The first thing that you need to know about a Mystic Art is that to use the first one, as you can see, these are grayed out because I can't actually use them right now. The first one, you simply need to attack someone and land a single unguarded hit to trigger it, as I will now demonstrate. Okay, really simple, not a problem. One sec, let me get back my blast gauge. Alright, and we're back. Now the next thing about Mystic Arts is that there's fun time with chaining. So Mystic Art chaining is performed by having other party members keep ready and waiting to use their Mystic Arts. And, well, not ready and waiting, but they just need to have the blast gauge for it, right? And during a Mystic Art, you hold the Mystic Art button and up, down, left, or right on the D-pad in the direction of a character who has blast gauge. So if I were to do a Mystic Art right now and I held L2 and left, I would get to Rokuro. And then if I held left again, I'd get to Life Reset. If I held up, I'd get to Velvet. And please note, that would swap Velvet in. So then if I went to Aizen with left and then right back to where Life Reset currently is, Velvet would now be there. And every 2 Mystic Arts in a chain will force the next one to be of a higher level. So as you saw, I have 3. Everyone else has 3. Yep, everyone else has 3. And once you satisfy, one last thing is the second one. So the second one requires you to do 8 moves, as low, and you can bring it out before you use a Mystic Art. It is possible to link the first Mystic Art to the second one. So what I'll do right now is I'll use an all device so it doesn't die. And I will do my best to bring out 2 Mystic Arts in a row here. Alright? Let's try it out. Could you please come here? This was my 8th attack, and then all I gotta do is just hold Mystic Art. Let's continue, eh? I'm gonna do what I said I would do a while ago. And what you've all been waiting for. This is known as the skip the boss fight technique. This is known as the skip the boss fight technique. Is it overkill? Absolutely. It's complete and total overkill. And when you've burned out all of your blast gauge and you don't want to go and fight and break souls to get it back up, you just rest at any old inn for paltry 100 gold, and all of a sudden, everyone's blast gauge is completely full and you can go and do it again. Now ain't that a kick? Alright, and the last little bits about the Mystic Arts, just remember, enemies defeated by them have higher item drop rates. If you're trying to farm up PC equipment, you get more grade for defeating enemies by them. And anytime you use a Mystic Art, any character that has used a Mystic Art will get 1 soul back. And if you use multiple of them, you'll get back a number of souls based on the number of Mystic Arts you've used. So if your party is low on souls and you have blast gauge, just chain and then turn the tides on all the enemies. Don't feel like holding back about it. Once you get into the groove of giving and taking souls and using a lot of break souls, you'll be doing it over and over and over and over. And it's a lot of fun. It's absolutely a lot of fun. And if you want even more, there's some titles that level up from using a bunch of Mystic Arts. They'll grant you more blast gauge to have even more power. And then some equipment, like this Pegasus wings, will actually grant it on the enhancement bonus right here. So you can just have more and more and more and more, over and over and over, forever. Mystic Art. Everything. It's also pretty damn cool, wouldn't you say? And finally, the last thing that I'm gonna talk about is how to set up the strategy menu. In particular, I'm gonna talk about Break Soul, Blast, and Attack and Healing. So, Blast, I set these to change out because I don't want my party members using the Mystic Arts by themselves, so that I can chain it whenever I want. The reason is because I like to proc chain combos on enemies and then essentially kind of break the damage counter. Plus it's a lot of fun. And so Blast to change out for people. Change out will let them switch out with somebody who isn't in the party when their health is low so that they don't die and you don't get the grade penalty. And I know Velvet's Break Soul is usually for attacking, but I set them all to you decide. And the reason being because Break Souls heal you, as I explained before. And this is also comes into why I have attack and healing for Rokuro and Velvet as Hold Nothing Back. See, once you're under the percentage that is here, The only thing you will do is you will stand around. You won't actually attack of any kind, but you'll try to use healing spells or abilities. This is fine for Eleanor, Aizen, Lifeset, Magilu, who have like all these 4 characters have healing abilities. But Velvet and Rokuro don't. So they'll just stand around and do absolutely nothing until you toss them a gel, which you can't do if they have a status effect. Or until they get healed, which you can't do if they have a status effect. But Break Souls, as I said, heal you. So the reason why I left it like this is because when the health is low, instead of just standing around and not contributing to the fight, you can just... They will just burn a Break Soul or 2 and then jump right back into the fray. Now, if you are leaving Velvet in the active party, you will notice that Velvet actually will be at low health almost all the time. Don't worry about it. She can't die when she's in Therion mode. And, yeah, she can't die in Therion mode. And as soon as she's done, because it's on UD side and on Hold Nothing Back, she will most likely burn another Break Soul to get her HP back up to snuff. And just resume attacking. Kind of like how you would play. The only problem with it is that she doesn't actually use any of her breakouts unless her HP hits 1. It's a bit of a problem with the AI in the game, but there's really kind of nothing we can do about it if you're not using Velvet. You could also leave her as a sub-member and get by with everybody else, or you could just play as her if you want to. But I would say try out other characters, and that's why I have these set up like that. As for tactics and action, do as you like, it's up to you. But attack and healing, Hold Nothing Back, and Break Soul on UD side. And if you don't want them to miss the cut, blast the chain shout, and you're about set to go. And with that, I think I have explained just about everything that I wanted to actually explain. So you have an idea of how to fight, how to give up souls, how to get back souls. Give them up with Break Souls, you get it back by the arts menu, how you set up your arts, you inflict a bunch of status effects. You don't run out of stamina. You learn about the shop, you learn about Potentites, you learn about mystic arts, you learn how to pick equipment with good skills, like restoring blast gauge and, you know, percent chance not to lose souls during Break Soul and whatever. You fight all the code reds, you do all the islands. Yeah. I think you're good. And just fiddle and enjoy your game. I hope this video has helped you. I hope you now enjoy the game. At least 72% more fun. You know, 72% more fun is the way to go, right? That's what Mystic Art training is for. And have a good time. If I could figure out how to emote, that would be great, but I can't. So I'm just gonna wait until Eleanor does something. Alright, there we go. Look at her being adorable. Okay, have a good day. Goodbye, everyone.